So the original work print for Spawn, the film from 1997, has surfaced online. Now, originally it was on the Internet Archive. It has since been taken down. I was fortunate enough to grab it before it was taken down. And literally before I started filming, I tried to do an unlisted upload on this YouTube channel of the work print. And when it came to the checking section of the video, when it was uploading and processing and all that, it flagged it and essentially said, no one can see this. Like, you have copyright stuff. Obviously, it's a Spawn DVD. Well, it listed it as a Spawn DVD, not the work print, and also a music track. So essentially, even though it was unlisted, and you couldn't monetize it, YouTube essentially said, no one's going to see this at all. So I tried to do you guys a solid and have it as an unlisted link on this channel. But regardless of that, we're going to check it out today and go through the differences of the theatrical cut and the director's cut and compare them to this work print. Now, I get fascinated by work prints. I think someone on YouTube who does a great job of the differences with work prints is Tony from Hack the Movies. Now, I discovered his work print videos when he did Freddy's Dead, which is a great watch. He's also done Jason Goes to Hell, Hellraiser Bloodline. Like, he's done a lot. So if you haven't checked out Tony's channel, please go do so. He does some great stuff over there. Now, I've scrubbed through this entire work print and I've made notes with the differences, but I'm going to be screen recording and then have like a little picture of me down in the corner and go through all the differences because there are quite a few differences. There's also the reveal of the Malbolgia live action puppet that KMB built for the film that initially got replaced with CGI. Now, the CGI is very shonky in this work print. Some VFX shots are completed, others aren't, but they're fascinating to look at. There are some shots where there's no VFX at all, and it's essentially Michael Jai White doing the action without the VFX animation in there. It's very interesting. The opening sequence of the film, that is very different with the way they've structured it when it comes to Al Simmons assassinating all those people on the plane and also the clown and Jason Wynn having their little chat. But we'll get to that. So again, we're going to start from the very beginning and scrub it all the way through. So again, guys, I am sorry that it didn't work out trying to do an unlisted upload on this channel. I'm sure there are other means to get this work print, but regardless, we're going to have a bit of fun and check this out. So we'll scrub through all the legal mumbo jumbo, which I'm just disregarding and I don't want to look at. New Line Cinema. So here's where it gets interesting. There's like a little prologue, I guess you could call it. So let's have a look at that. So you see right there, that is the first glimpse of the live action Malbolgia puppet, which you see quite a bit throughout this work print. You do see the CGI Malbolgia at the end with the final fight with Cagliostro and Spawn. Now, here's where things get interesting. Watch this.
We made a deal. Where the hell is the ultimate weapon you promised us?
It seems they've taken... This is interesting, and I actually really like the way they've done this. They're cutting back and forth between the plane assassination with Al Simmons and the chat between Clown and Jason Wynn. Whereas in the theatrical cut and the director's cut, those scenes are completely separate. We start off with the introduction to Al Simmons, him taking out that plane, and then we start in with this scene with Clown and Jason Wynn. But with the work print, it cuts back and forth. I actually prefer this. The way they've edited this sequence to the theatrical and the director's cut. So we scrub through Al's getting the rocket ready, and then it cuts back to Jason Wynn and Clown having a chat. They're referencing Al Simmons, and we're seeing Al's process at the same time.
Simmons, he's doing a great job.
So I really like it. It sets the tone. It sets up the character of Al Simmons. They're kind of doing all the exposition with his background because in the initial scene with Al and the assassination with the plane, there's no dialogue. It's just him doing his thing. But I kind of prefer this. Now, the credits are very temporary. Still pretty cool. Now, keeping with the theme of this being the director's cut, we get the next snap. Now, him going to hell, this is where we get a proper introduction to the Malbolgia puppet. There you go. There is a good look at the puppet. You can even see the rod right there. Hang on, let me just move this down here. Sorry, guys. So yeah, you can still see the rod there because it was like a rod-operated puppet. Now this is such a weird effect. Did you see that? It's Wanda. It was such a weird choice. And obviously that's not in the theatrical or the director's cut, but watch again. And then we cut straight back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Now this shot here, usually there's the VFX shot of the helicopter flying over, and then it transitions to daytime and the cross that separates the streets. That's not there. You can see right here.
Reborn on Earth, with his memories stripped bare.
So there you go. Okay, here's the flashback to hell where Clown's reminding Spawn of how he came to be. My new general. I kind of like that. There's another good shot of the puppet. Look at this close-up of the puppet.
I'll get you, Gadget.
So there's another great shot.
What is your answer?
Yes. Now, when it comes to the graveyard scene where Al's digging up his corpse, in the theatrical and the director's cut, the hand of Al's corpse comes up and grabs him and then like disintegrates into dust. That doesn't happen here at all. There's like no VFX shot at all. They just completely disregarded that. There you go. Now the VFX for Spawn getting his suit, like it's pretty much there. I don't think they did the VFX on Michael Jai White's hands. I don't think that was finished at the time, as you can see. So you see his hands are still somewhat intact. Okay, the famous skylight entrance, his Batman entrance with that state-of-the-art cape. So for the most part, it's somewhat complete. But this is interesting. You can see where they're, I guess you could call it masking and tracking Jason Wynn and Terry, because the cape flows around then. And look, I'm not a VFX expert. I'm assuming they've had to separate them because they have to have a layer there where the cape animation goes around them. So you see right here. So yeah, if we go back, you can see that they're kind of tracked and layered out. That's probably the wrong terminology, but again, because the cape is going around them, they need to have an extra layer in like the background plate. Now everything's pretty much the same with the gunfight in the restaurant at the party, but when Spawn smashes out the window and the chains save him and he goes against the building, it's interesting. In the Australian VHS DVD, I don't know if it's a difference between the theatrical and the director's cut, but when the chains retract and go back inside of him, in the Australian version, he yells, "Holy shit." But in this one, he yells, "Damn, this armor rules." It's so cheesy. Now, when he falls from the building and the cape saves him, there is the start of the cape animation, but when he's going down the street and around the corner, it literally just looks like a skewed, like a black rectangle. Check this out. Again, like temporary stuff just as a placeholder until they finalize the VFX shot. Okay, another shot of the Malbolgia puppet. Now, when it comes to the fight between Spawn and the Violator, it's pretty much the same. Just a few clips I feel have been swapped around in versus the theatrical and the director's cut. If anything, you just see some much more unpolished VFX shots of the Violator. And you can tell as well, because there is a shift in the exposure of certain shots. Like they've probably just been quickly inserted from the VFX house from ILM. And yeah, again, it's just to get an understanding of the flow of the film and how long the runtime is going to be. But for the most part, the Spawn and the Violator fight, it pretty much stays the same. Okay, we're skipping right to the final fight. Everything that's happened between the Spawn and Violator fight right up to now, like it's pretty much stayed the same. Again, just a few shonky VFX shots here and there. But this shot here of when Clown puts his ear to Jason Wynn's chest, Usually in the theatrical and the director's cut, you'd see it open up and kind of go transparent and see the detonator that's hooked to Jason Wynn's heart. Here, because again, it's very rough, they kind of cut to the detonator inside Jason Wynn. There you go. Now, in the theatrical and the director's cut, when Spawn has Jason Wynn about to kill him and he looks at Cyan and he's like, this ain't worth it, and he uses his powers to remove the detonator. In the workprint, that doesn't happen at all. He looks at Cyan, realizes this is not worth it, and just pushes Wynn out of the way.
I'm through doing Hell's dirty work.
Now, the final fight in Hell, it's pretty rough. Now, what I'm about to show you is the shot where you'd see all the other Hell Spawn rising up along with Malbolgia. Now, this is where we see the VFX Malbolgia, the CGI Malbolgia, but these pillars that are rising up have no Hell Spawn on them at all. They haven't been inserted yet. Ooh, that's rough. So we actually, hang on, we do go from CGI Malbolgia to puppet Malbolgia. Now I want to talk about this little sequence here. So when everything's said and done, the battle in Hell is over, Spawn, Cagliostro, they return to the living room, and he has that little moment with Wanda and Cyan. Now first, I'll play this.
I knew you'd save us.
Now, if you remember that necklace that Al has in the film, he then gives that to Cyan. Now, in the theatrical and the director's cut, you just see her with it at the end. And she kind of looks up at her mum and then looks back down at it. There was more to that sequence. There was actually a sequence where Spawn says to Cyan, hold on to this for me. It's the last piece of who I was. Keep it safe. I feel like that would have hit so hard in the film. He understands that he no longer has a life with Wanda. Wanda is now married to Terry. They now have their little girl Cyan, and that's it. You've just got to move forward. I feel like that would have been a nice little touch at the end. And when it comes to the ending, it's pretty much the same. That's just that grand epic shot of Spawn top on the roof with the cape flowing, and that's it. And there you go, guys. That was the work print for Spawn from 1997. Again, I'm sorry I couldn't make it work with privately or doing an unlisted upload here on the channel. Again, I'm sure there's other ways to get it, but I was just happy to go through it and hope you guys got a Jones and out of it too. Let me know your thoughts as well on that opening sequence and the way it was structured in the work print. I really do prefer that. I really preferred how they cut between Al with the assassination in the plane and then Jason Wynn and Clown talking. It just gives a lot of exposition to Al Simmons and whilst he's doing his thing. Anyway, let me know. Love you guts, and I'll catch you in the next one.